All right, guys, our guest tonight is one half of the TNA Tag Team Champions, the Monster Abyss. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks, Donald. Thanks for having me on.
No problem, my friend. Listen, the biggest piece of news for TNA was Impact Wrestling's jump from Spike TV to Destination America every Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. As someone who has been around since the very start of this company, do you feel the transition is good for the long-term success of TNA? And how does this compare to some of Impact Wrestling's previous moves from one station to another?
You know, I think it's just I think it's a continuation of the growth of Impact Wrestling. You know, Destination America, provides us opportunities that we've never had before. And I appreciate you bringing up, I've been around since the beginning, and, seeing the growth going from the Wednesday night only pay-per-views back in 2003 and 4 and going to Fox Sports, and then our great relationship with Spike for 9 years almost, and then our move to Destination America. I mean, it's just a continuation of the growth of the company. And we already have opportunities with Destination America that we never had with any other network. The Saturday Morning Unlocked show hosted by Mike Tenay, the best of TNA matches. So you can already see a lot of commitment from Destination America. So it's an exciting time for us. We just got done with the New York first round of TVs in New York last week, and they went fantastic. And the locker room really gave it everything they had, and I think it showed in the product.
Mike Chiari?
There's been a lot of positive reaction Hi, how you doing? There's been not too bad. There's been a lot of positive reaction regarding TNA's relaunch and their move to Destination America, as you said. And having been in New York for that first set of tapings, what was the atmosphere like among the talent, and what were some of the main differences that you noticed between now and TNA's previous stint on Spike?
The locker room was excited. It was really fun to see it, to be a part of it. Obviously, I'm in the locker room, and to see it and to see the excitement, from everybody, and from all the knockouts and from all the guys. It was an exciting time. We hadn't seen each other in a little while because we had a little bit of time off. So to get back to work, I think everybody was super excited just to get back to work and get back to what we do best, and that's perform in the ring. And it was fun to see the enthusiasm and the excitement as we embark on this new venture, with Destination America. It's funny. It's not really that much of a difference as far as the atmosphere and work. It's a different network, and there's different expectations and different things that we want to accomplish, and I'm sure Destination America wants to accomplish. So we're feeling each other out, and we're understanding each other's goals, and from that standpoint it's a little bit different, but other than that it's very much business as usual.
All right, Brandon, Gavin. Oh, Abyss, there's three of us. I didn't tell you that earlier. My apologies for just dumping that on.
Oh, that's okay.
In an interview, but there's three of us. So, Brandon, Gavin, your question time.
Hi, Abyss. You've been one of the most interesting members of the TNA roster since your debut. How do you find ways to continue evolving, and what do you envision the next evolution of Abyss will be?
That's a great question, and I'm so proud of the evolution of the Abyss character throughout the years. Longevity in this business is not something that a lot of talents get to have the privilege to experience, and I've been able to do that. I've been very fortunate and very lucky. I've worked very, very hard, but I've also had a ton of support, and to see the character evolve like it has, from its roots in the beginning with Jim Mitchell and not speaking to evolving to speaking, and just the different phases of the character, the Insane Asylum character in 2008 and 9, and working with Hulk in 2010 and 11, and just the continuation of the character, and then you throw in some of the Joseph Park stuff, my illustrious brother, that stuff was fantastic too. So, I've had a lot of support along the way. Number one, Dixie, obviously my relationship with her goes all the way back to 2003, early 03, and, just everything she's provided, tools and things for me to be able to showcase myself on that platform. Dave Lagana and Matt Conway, the writing team, just fantastic, coming up with new angles and new ways to present the character. So it's been a lot of support. It's been a great team effort, and I'm more proud of that. The fact that I've been with Impact and with TNA since 2003, gosh, going on, what is that, 11 or 12 years? That I'm more proud of that than any belt I've ever won or any accomplishment I've ever been able to do in the ring. It just, being a part of the Impact team, for well over a decade is something I'm extremely proud of.
Well, let's talk about Joseph Park for a second. As one of my favorite character changes of all time, I described it as Mick Foley-esque, the way he would change from character to character. It was awesome.
Right.
It legitimately had me excited about wrestling, and it was genuinely entertaining. What goes into a decision like that, going from the monster to a lawyer, a goofy lawyer who looked like he didn't know how to wrestle? It was so fun. It was so entertaining. It was so different from what you had become accustomed to. How did you handle such a drastic change?
Yeah. It was a challenge. I come from a football background, so you're presented with coaching and learning and doing different things and adapting to circumstances. And I'll be lying to you if I said I wasn't afraid to death when I first started the Joseph Park character. It was a brand new adventure. You talk about a 360-degree turn from the monster abyss. That's exactly what it was. I really enjoyed it. It was such a fun part of my career, just to be able to be something that I wasn't for the last 12, 15 years, whatever it is, to be a different character, and to the challenge that it presented. To me, it was an incredible challenge to act like you didn't know what you were doing, and to be green and to be not knowing how to wrestle, and the different tone in the voice and the different way that I walked and carried myself. And we really, as a team, again, I got to give a lot of credit to David Lagana and Matt Conway. Just the situations that they put the character in really helped it to succeed. It was a ton of fun.
Mike Yard?
You've been part of quite a few stables over the course of your career in TNA, but the Revolution is definitely one of the more interesting ones due to the mix of veterans and young talent in it. And as a veteran who's been with TNA since the start, do you kind of find yourself imparting wisdom upon and helping along guys like Manic and Sonata in that group?
I do. Manic and Sonata, they're young, but gosh, they're really good. And they're both seasoned veterans, even though they're young. Both of them have done a lot, and they're both very intelligent, very smart, in the ring and out of the ring. They're just two really smart guys. So I love the mix, the different, Sonata being obviously Japanese and Manic being more of a high flyer. Storm, he's in the same boat as I am, and that's one thing I'm proud of. Storm's been around since the beginning of this company, and has a ton of history. And I just love the fact that we're together now. He and I've known him since 1997 when we broke in together. And, obviously we really didn't have a whole lot of interaction over the last 12 years. So to bring us together as a team, the group, the Revolution as a group, I think is a great mix. Sonata has a great knowledge of Japanese style and American style. Manic is such a high flyer. Storm's a beer drinking badass, and I'm the monster. So it's a great mix. We really did some great stuff in New York that you'll see on some of these upcoming shows. I really think the group's gelling, and I'm excited about it. The Revolution, I think, is going to do a lot of big things in 2015.
BG?
Because TNA has relied on you as a performer that can fluctuate between different roles in the company, whether it be singles competition or tag team competition, and also in the main event scene. Obviously, you gained great experience through your years as evident by your work, but what are some of the challenges you recall by being positioned in so many different spots?
That's a great question. The challenges, gosh, there's millions of them, that you have every day. Every day is a challenge, when you have a goal in mind or what they want to achieve, that's a goal, right? That's an issue every time we tape, because as a team, as a group, myself and John Gaburik and Dixie and David and Matt, we work as a team to accomplish things the most effective way we can. So that's a challenge in every day, and every time that we step, into the arena for a show, for a TV, the basic, I think the biggest challenge over the years would be just kind of changing my mindset. Abyss was a lot different character in 2003 than he was in 2013, and that 10 years in between, there was a lot of changes. So, the biggest obstacle and the biggest challenge was to just adapt, and that's hard to do a lot of times. Change is really hard for most people. People hate change. Change is kind of like a dirty word to a lot of people. So, but in the wrestling business, if you can't change and you can't adapt, you're not going to last long. And I think that's a reason that I've been able to have the longevity that I've had is that I've been able to adapt and take direction and change. And if you can do that, I think that you can accomplish a lot of things and have longevity in the wrestling business.
Well, look, while doing my research for this interview, I found an interview from Tommy Dreamer when he spoke to Steve Austin. He claimed that there's been plenty of talk about this, so you already know what I'm talking about. WWE wanted to sign you to fight The Undertaker at WrestleMania 19. Instead, you joined TNA. You had a great career, so looking back, no regrets, I'd assume. But can you tell us your side of this story, and looking back now, would you make the same decisions again?
Yeah. I absolutely 1,000% would make the same decision again. I absolutely have no regrets whatsoever. Being a part of TNA since the very, very beginning is something, like I mentioned earlier, that I'm extremely proud of. And not to say that other places aren't good places and great places to go work. I'm sure they are. But for me, the decision to stay on that occasion and several other occasions was due to the fact that, I love TNA. I'm TNA through and through, and I always will be, and I'm proud of that. I did have opportunities to go other places, and I'm proud of that I was afforded at least that opportunity. The reason I stayed was for loyalty. It was for no other reason, not stage fright, as Tommy might have joked in the interview with Steve. It had completely to do with the fact that I love TNA. I'm TNA through and through. The company has treated me just fantastic over the last decade plus years that I've been there. From Dixie to everybody there, and I'm happy there, and I wanted to, stay there, and I wanted to help build the company, and I wanted to be part of something that I started with from the ground up, and there's no other place in the world where I could have gone and said that. So that was the reason that that I stayed, and I have zero regrets. And if I had it to do over again 100 times, I would do it 100 times.
Mike, here.
One of the guys who a lot of people have compared you to over the years, due to your hardcore style, is Mick Foley, who you're able to work a program with in TNA. And I was wondering, how do you regard that opportunity looking back, and what were you able to take away from it that helped you become even better as a performer moving forward?
That's a great question, and it was if you have a bucket list in wrestling, that was definitely near the top, if not at the top of my bucket list in wrestling, was to get a chance to work with Mick. And, he was with us for a while, and I did get to know him, and I was really proud of that. And what a fantastic person he is, not just from a wrestling standpoint, but just as an individual and a human being. What a great person to be around. So getting to know him was awesome. Getting to wrestle with him at I believe it was Bound for Glory in Irvine, California. That was fantastic. It was kind of a dream come true. I always wanted to work with Mick, and the comparisons have been there since I started as Abyss, way back in 2003. So, I think it was something. I think the fans definitely wanted to see it. I definitely wanted to do it. And Mick, we really enjoyed working together. Like I said, I learned an awful lot from him, and I could sit here for hours and tell you that stuff. But I think the biggest thing I took away from Mick was just to be smart and make sure no matter what you're doing, tell a story with it, and make sure that the story is as strong as any of the stupid, crazy, bumps that we do, whether it's, tables or fire or glass or tacks. That stuff is secondary to the story, and I think that's one of the big things I've learned from him.
Final question, BG?
Abyss, one of my favorite programs of yours is when you worked with Raven and James Mitchell. Did you learn anything from working with them that you carry to this day and may teach younger wrestlers?
I did. I worked with Raven when I was a lot younger, and he had been around and done a lot of stuff. So I really learned from him. Raven Scott's an incredibly intelligent person. Again, in and out of the ring. So I learned a lot from him, just psychology-wise. Jim Mitchell, to this day, I still say he's one of the best, if not, the best promo in the business, especially with the Reverend Jim Mitchell, the devil character. I mean, his promos were just they were riveting, and there were times where I'd be on set with him and listening to his promos. They would give me chills up my back. So, he was incredible. I think I learned an awful lot of promo stuff from Jim, more so than wrestling stuff. During that time. But again, that's another program that I enjoyed. We were together so many times, did so many different matches together. I can't even remember them all, but I remember them all being a lot of fun and the fans really enjoying them.
Well, let's say huge thanks to TNA star Abyss for coming on the show. Don't forget to catch Impact Wrestling on Destination America every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Tell the fans where they can support you, Abyss.
You can follow me on Twitter. It's at the Real Abyss, one word. And obviously Destination America, guys. Starting this Friday, it all kicks off with our new regular time slot from 9 to 11. Let's not forget about Unlocked on Saturday mornings. Mike Tenay hosting it. I can't think of a better host in the entire industry to be doing that than Mike. Just one of the best, if not the best announcers of all time, in my opinion, and the best of TNA matches. So look for that. Look for a lot of additional programming, and look for some great stuff coming in 2015 from this company.
Another huge thanks to Abyss. Thanks for coming on the show, and have a great day, man.
Hey, guys, thanks so much for having me on.